It's your boy Najee from RapRadar.com. I'm sitting here with a very, very special guest. Now, if you know anything about this music business, the man sitting to my right is a certified legend. He stamped his name in the management category, just doing business all along. He's managed acts such as Bone Thugs and Harmony, Sean Kingston, Nipsey Hussle, and the list goes on and on. I got my man Steve Lobel. What's up, baby? What's going on, brother? Man, thank you for coming,
man. We're both from Queens, man.
Yo, it's a Queens thing. You already know. Queens is running things right now. It's a Queens thing, man. We're from Queens. Where are you from, Queens?
Man, I'm from all over Queens.
All over?
It's so crazy because you're talking about Fresh Meadows, you're talking about Jamaica, you're talking about Flushing, Hollis. You know, I'm from all over the place in Queens, man. And my dad's still in Queens.
Dad's still in Queens. All right. So just you being like, you know, a Queens guy and coming up in that scene in that time period, man, like there was so many legends and so much going on at that time. How would you say, I guess, like, you know, just being from there has sort of just impacted you and, you know, your mindset?
Well, you know, first of all, you know, I'm definitely from Queens. I'll never forget where I come from. And I try to tell people that all the time because a lot of people go to a different state to try to break their career or get on. And I'm like, if you can't get on in your own neighborhood or your own state or your own city or your own country, don't come nowhere else. So always never forget where you come from. So yeah, I'm from Queens, and I come into the game through the late great Jam Master Jay and Run DMC. I just, you know, Queens is just I don't know, you gotta go there to experience and understand it. You know, and you know, when we were growing up, it's like Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island. Queens, we known for shell toes, Adidas, you know, Bronx, Air Force Ones, you know, mixture of different situations with shoes. But just growing up in Queens, especially in hip hop, you know, a lot of people come out of Queens, you know, from Prodigy, rest in peace, Mobb Deep, Nas, 50, Russell Simmons, Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Fight, rest in peace, Fife. You know, you know, the list goes on. How many people come out of Queens? And hip hop in general, even though it started in the Bronx. You know,
absolutely. So, like you said, we jumped in straight into it. Jam Master Jay was the person, I guess, who put you on and was, you know, instrumental in you jumping into the game. Like, how did you meet Jam Master Jay? Like, how was that, like, just meeting him the first time you meet him and y'all connect? Like, what was that like?
Well, you know, Jam Master Jay gave me an opportunity. And when opportunities knock, you take. So I grew up in Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. And I used to run around with them, but I was like, what's my position? What am I going to do? So if it was either carrying records or hanging out or driving the van or carrying an Adidas bag, whatever it was, I was around Def Jam and Rush Management in the early stages. You know, EPMD, Public Enemy, Beastie Boys, Third Base, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, because Rush Management had a lot of those artists and Def Jam had other artists. So I was around all of it, and I'm ear hustling and I'm listening and I'm learning and watching Russell Simmons, Leo Cohen. But I'm like, what's my position? You know, how can I make money doing this type of stuff? Because I come from Queens. I used to rake leaves, shovel snow, deliver newspapers, wash dishes, bust tables to make money. So I was like, what's going to be the position in the music business? So running around with them and meeting people and learning and stuff, it was cool, but I was just like, how am I making real money? So I had to open up a bar in Queens on Union Turnpike near St. John's University. One was called Frankie and Johnny's, and one was called Sports Library. So anybody who goes to St. John's probably knows it as Iguanas now.
Iguanas,
So I was like 20 years old, and you know, Run DMC used to come through, Onyx used to come through, Mark Jackson, Chris Mullen, a lot of athletes.
That was with St. John's, St. John's.
A lot of athletes, a lot of rappers and stuff, and you know, DMC went to St. John's, and J. Cole went to St. John's, and I was like, what can we do here? So the funny story was, there was a bartender that was a fraternity brother from St. John's, and he worked on the weekends for me. So Onyx, Fred Joe and Sticky, you know, rest in peace, Big DS, you know, shout out Sunny C's, but they would come. And they're like, yo, we're gonna use this bar to find a white rapper, and we're gonna make a Marky Mark. So we started casting white rappers, and we found this one guy, Sticky, gonna write the songs, the exercise song. Jam Master Jay was involved. And next thing you know, my bartender was worked at Relativity. Relativity was Sony. So he was like, let's take it there. So we all went to a meeting, and I met a man named Alan Grumbler there.
E1?
Now, E1 now, and you know, Koch and Relativity. He was like, hey, you want a job? I was like, no one ever asked me if I want the job, because I always worked for myself, making money and stuff.
Well, what do you think Alan saw in you that kind of made him say, like, yo, you want a job?
You gotta ask him. I don't know. I never even asked him. I'm gonna ask him. We're still friends to this day. You know, Death Row catalog is E1, and a lot of artists went through E1 and Koch. So I was like, sure, what's the pay?
Yeah.
So there's not much pay. So I was like, all right, cool. So he said, you go around to the retail stores and put up posters and check out stock and all that stuff. I'm like, cool, but I was like, I'm gonna take it to another level. I'm gonna go into these stores and say, what's hot?
Right.
What's coming out? Who's this? Who's that? And then I started doing that around the country, calling record stores around the country.
Yeah.
And meeting, building relationships with independent retailers around the country to find out what's hot. Next thing you know, Fat Joe was going on the road. He was signed to Relativity, and they had no one to go on the road with him. And they were like, "You want to go on the road, with Fat Joe?" I'm like, "All right, cool." You know, he had Flo Joe out at the time,
Right.
And we got in a van. And back then, we used to rent vans out in Fantastic, in Massapequa, Long Island.
Yeah.
And that's what every label used to do. We'd go do
Just rent the
promo
vans
tours.
out?
Yeah, that's when
You
promo
wrap the
tours.
vans and all that?
No, we
Wrap
didn't
them?
wrap them. We just rented them,
Okay,
and we go do promo tours.
Right.
And every label used to go to Fantastic and rent, you know, the nice passenger vans.
Yeah.
So I went on the road with Fat Joe, and Big Pun was his hype man. And we would go to radio stations, we go to retail stores, and that's how I built a relationship with Joe. And until this day, I'm still his friend.
Yeah.
Introduced him to his wife, and then worked with Pun, and he started blowing up.
Right.
So it was working at Relativity though met a lot of people because Common Sense was there. I worked with Common Sense, the Beatnuts, MOP, Drew Down,
Crazy.
Mac Mall.
Alright, hold on.
Dayton
So,
family.
because we getting into,
I
I heard
could
these
take you all
gems.
over,
Yeah, it's
but-
going crazy right now. So hold on. Let's even before the music. Let's just take it into just how you even got to a space to where you fell in love with the the culture. Because like for me, right, like I was kind of a casual listener of rap. I listened to rap since I was a little kid. I was a casual listener to radio stuff. But like once the moment for me when I knew was like when Get Rich or Die Trying dropped, and I was just like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then from that moment on, it was like, yo, I can't. What was that moment for you where you were like, yo, I heard something or something happened that made you just fall in love with the culture?
Well, I always loved music, so I used to scalp tickets for rock concerts. So I'd be outside Madison Square Garden,
Hustling.
3, 4 in the morning, scalping tickets for like Van Halen, Aerosmith, stuff like that. And hip hop came like in the 80s, right? So I just remember sucking MCs from Run DMC.
Absolutely.
And everybody thought it was gonna be a fad.
Yeah.
And Russell Simmons like, this is gonna last, and now I think it's like 42 years old, hip hop.
Right.
So suck MCs really, or Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Okay. Now, being that you, even outside of the music industry, you moved around Queens, and I know like you was around, moving around, and I know you knew guys like Bimby, like you know what I mean, the OG.
Well, that's funny you say that.
You know what I mean, because those guys from Baisley and all of those guys, and I know you know them. And how did you kind of get in contact with
See,
those guys?
that type of stuff, in not too much detail, will be in my book. I'm writing a book called A Coach Lasts Longer Than a Player. But I moved around, South Jamaica, Liberty Park, Hollis, Queens, Jamaica, Queens, all that. And Bimmy, and you can't mention the Supreme Team without saying Bimmy's name. There's a lot of contradiction going on about that. But I was friends with a lot of people from the Supreme Team. Yeah. And Bimmy's a dear friend of mine till this day. That's Waka Flocka's uncle.
Absolutely.
Shout out Deb, his crazy ass
sister. Shout out Deb too, yeah.
But me and Bim got stories.
Right.
And I grew up with a kid named Mustafa. Mustafa was deep in that, and my man Dave Seabrook. Yeah. Dave Seabrook, you'll probably know from Mob Wives. He got a baby by Karen Gravano.
Oh, okay.
Probably the only black made man from Sammy the Bull. And my man, Chuck, everybody knows him as Shamik. He passed away. Right. But Freddie's Barbershop on Parsons, and just going to Jamaica High School and just moving around. My mom wasn't racist, and she taught me to, grow up. And my mom taught me, I shouldn't say that, my mom taught me not to be racist and stereotype people and judge people. Only God could judge. So I grew up with black people, Spanish people, all types of different people, Italian people. So it made me who I was. Right. Or I am. Yeah. And I moved around with a lot of people, in a lot of circles, man. So I got stories in a lot of circles,
man.
Bimmy's telling the story. Going to do a Supreme Team movie and show. Yeah. Rest in peace, Black Just.
So even in that, I think there are definitely lessons that we learn as people, just kind of going through stuff and moving through the streets. And I know I heard somewhere you said that you got into some trouble and you was in Spofford, like as a as a juvenile and all of that.
Yeah, man, I was in Spofford when I was 13 years old, man. And I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
And
Your Spofford ain't no joke,
yeah,
bro.
I was like, man, you gotta turn the air conditioner on. They're like, man, there's no air conditioner. Like that.
Right.
And I was 13, man. I just became a man, so to speak, because I'm Jewish and I was bar mitzvah. So when they say when you get bar mitzvah at 13, you become a man. You know, I was in the Queen's house. I was in Nassau County. You know, at the end of the day, I never did no real time, and I don't glorify that, I don't praise that. I got a lot of people never coming home.
Yeah.
I got people that have been on the island, people have been in the county jail, people have been up north. I don't glorify none of that stuff, but I've been through a lot of things as just a white Jewish kid from Queens, you know? And prison or jail is not for the average person. You shouldn't want to even think about that or glorify it. You know, I tell a lot of people, like, there's a lot of kids who want to be in the hip hop game, and they might come from a rich neighborhood, but when they get around the culture, sometimes they like get a little nervous. Like I tell people, like, you don't want to wind up in the county jail, you want to get raped, or you know, you get in the county jail, you won't be able to hold your own. So if you're gonna get into hip hop and like hip hop, watch how you get into it. Don't try to think you're a blood or a Crip, but you're a white kid from Beverly Hills. Yeah. You know, don't just say the N word just because it's a fad. It ain't a fad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
So that's what happens. You know, a lot of people in the culture want to live it, but not understand it.
Absolutely. So now, like, you're trying to get in the game. You met Jam Master Jay. Jay's putting you on. That leads you to meet Russell. Now, we all know we don't have to go into detail on Russell's meaning to the culture and what he's done for, you know, Def Jam and just rap in general.
Russell Simmons is one of my mentors, and I feel like everybody out there needs a mentor.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't have, you know, you take advantage or even understand what a mentor is. So my mentors are my dad and Russell Simmons. I learned a little bit from Leo Cohen, which I just happened to run into him the other day.
I saw that.
You know, so, you know, they call me the white Russell Simmons, you know?
The white Russell Simmons,
yeah,
I like
Russell
that.
even says that too. So,
yeah.
You know, what I learned from Russell is that be yourself at all times. Never change. You know, Russell used to walk into black tie events with just, you know, a t-shirt and shell toes on. Right. And he's like, we're gonna just be ourselves at all times. I learned a lot from him, honestly, and you know, I never asked him for nothing. Yeah. A lot of people ask these people for something, but I just listen and learn and soak up knowledge, because I feel like knowledge is key and experience is key, and a lot of people don't understand that and don't take advantage of that. Yeah.
So now, even like you said, you just ran into Lior, and every time I hear a Lior story with somebody in the industry, it's like, yo, it's been so impactful, and Lior's always dropping jewels, and you learn so much. He's such a smart guy. Just kind of, you know, being able to network and soak up the game from guys like Lior. Did you get a lot from just those experiences, like just even being around him and, you know, your relationship with him?
Yeah, of course. I mean, nowadays the young kids could Google stuff and read about it, but back then you learned as we went. Right. I didn't know. I became an A&R. I didn't know what that artist repertoire meant. Right. I learned as I go. You want to be an A&R? Yeah. You know how to do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's an A&R.
So, you know, back then, I was just living and learning and stuff, and just telling everybody I could do that and just learn as you go, because you don't want to lose that opportunity. Right. But Lior, you know, I learned from Lior, like, he just be a shark. Just be about business. Right. You know, I know there's been myths about, you know, he's a culture vulture. Yeah. You know, I salute Dame Dash too, because he don't bite his tongue. Right. I like guys who keep it real and don't bite their tongue. So Leo Cohen is, you know, I've learned a lot from him, and you know, he was a straight shooter, and he's a big part of his culture. Yeah. Started as a road manager for Run DMC. Right. You know, I did things with Lior. Shit, Lior sent me a check to La Montrose Hotel to get involved with the project, and a Rolex. So one of my Rolex.
And a Rolex. That's this one right here.
Y'all, not this one.
Mean? Diamonds dancing.
This one's a 40th. When I turned 40 years old, right. A lot of people I've worked with chipped in and bought me this Rolex. Yeah. But yeah, Lior sent me a two-tone with a blue face. Nice. For a project that we had did, and a check and stuff. So, and Lior is still doing it. So absolutely. You have to salute those type of people. I get upset when the younger generation don't really know who's who and what they did for the culture. Right. And they should really learn and understand that, because you know, people have longevity.
Right, right. Now I thought it was interesting. You know, you mentioned your time being an A&R, and I think, you know, we're in a space in a day and age where the quintessential meaning of what an A&R is kind of lost these days. It's not the same as what it used to be. Yeah. What was it like, you know, at that point in time, being an A&R and, you know, trying to lock in music and records, and what was that like?
And real quick, you know, rest in peace to one of the greatest, Tupac Shakur. You know, man, is the Outlaws. A lot of people don't even know that. Yeah. Rest in peace to Fatal Hussein and Gaddafi. But you know, an A&R is an artist repertoire.
What does that mean for everybody who's?
It's just artist repertoire, meaning that you know how to deal with the artist. And you know, to me, it was to find the right producers to work with that artist back in the days.
Right.
To find the right collaborations, to be in the studio. You know, we had things as A&R admin to, you know, worry about the budget and so on and so forth. I feel now that the young generation or the artists themselves is their own A&R. And I feel like the A&R is getting pushed out because a lot of these artists are doing it independently and blowing up on themselves and making the music creatively. Then an A&R finds out, you know, how much streams they have or views, and they go in and say, hey, we'll sign you, take it to another level. And really that is to take to the next level, is they're just putting the money behind you, which you're gonna have to pay back anyway.
Absolutely.
It's always a loan, and that's why I always try to tell the younger generation that they need to learn that this is the music business. This is deeper than likes and followers on Instagram. This is deeper than just you know following the trend at the moment. It's a business, and if you don't know the music business, you're gonna get screwed. You know, you're going to eventually have to build a team and get a lawyer to look over those contracts. I don't let no person I work with sign a contract without a lawyer and maybe another lawyer looking at it. Because it's a business.
Lawyer for your
You just don't go buy a house and sign that deed or the mortgage without having a lawyer look at it. You know, like, you have to understand that. So, you know, if you're a producer and you don't know about publishing, or you don't know about splits, or you don't know about CSAC or ASCAP or BMI, like, why are you making beats? Just to make beats? So, you know, and an artist, you know, you have to know about 360 deal. You have to know how to know about your splits. You have to know about your pub. You have to know about, you know, your merch sales. You have to know about your, you know, who pays what, who gets what, when you show money and stuff. There's so much more of the business to learn that you have a booking agency for a reason. They're going to book you shows, and that agent's going to protect you because that agent's going to worry about your merch splits, going to worry about the proper security, the ticket sales, the back end, the front end, the marketing, the advertisement. So you pay an agent 10%. And most of these artists need to get a booking agent. If you have a manager, you pay that manager 20%, because that manager's going to fight and be the prick and the scumbag for you. I'm a scumbag. I'm fighting for my client, but I'm a really nice guy deep inside, but I got to be the bad guy, because artists don't need to speak for themselves, because then people take advantage of them. You know, and then you get a business manager, so you don't wind up in a fucked up situation with the IRS. You have to give. You know, you have to pay out. You can't just say, I'm taking 100% for me as an artist and fuck everybody. It doesn't work like that. Jay-Z don't do that. You build a business like that, and you pay people out that work for you and hold you down and do different things for you. If not, you wind up in situations, and then most people don't want to deal with the artist directly.
This is an interesting job, and it's something hard to come by, right? It's a very coveted job, right? People look at A&Rs and like, man, I want to be an A&R. I want to find and secure music. What do you think is the most important skill for someone that wants to become an A&R?
I mean, you have to have a great ear. You know, in these days, it's like a free-for-all. It's the wild, wild west. You really don't know what's hot no more, because the internet, you know, is a gift and a curse. It exploded and exploited so much different genres of music. I just recently met a kid named Russ, and Scott worked with him, you know, and I'm like, this kid is super fucking talented.
Super dope.
And he's Italian and a white kid, and I'm like, where'd he come from? You know, and my little nephew over there sitting watching, Ryan, he wants to be an A&R. So I'm like, yo, find the new shit and tell me what we need to work with or who need to work with. So the next mission is that I feel like, and I'm going all over the place with you, but like Scott Storch, I've imagined Scott, and I'm telling Scott, you made everybody else's career giving them smashes. We need to find an artist right now that we sign and we break with your production. We got some great writers, and we control it, and then we go take it to a label. We do it independently, because we got the plugs at Spotify, Apple Music. We got guys to shoot videos. Content is king, and got the young A&R. And I'm telling them, like, yo, find something for us, and we're going to break that artist, because I'm sick of doing it for the other people. So at the end of the day, there's so much talent out there. So again, a lot of kids want to graduate, go into work at a record label. They want to be A&Rs. They want to do this. They want to do that. But everybody's doing it. So, look, my man Orlando, who found PNB Rocks, and, you know, found A Boogie and Don Q and Fetty, Kodak. He's my man. And I was with him at the Roots Picnic, and I was telling him, like, I was giving him some gems and some advice to let him know how to have the longevity. You know what I mean? And when I seen PNB Rocks buy him that Benz, like, bro, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That's hard to even get that from an artist. Absolutely. So you're blessed, and just the gem is less is more. And quality over quantity. And I was just giving him gems, and Orlando's like that man right now. He just got a great ear. You know, you have to be gifted, and you know that comes from God. to know what's hot or see the vision. You know, when we found Nipsey Hussle, me and my partner Big U, Nipsey was doing this thing in LA, running around with his CDs and putting posters up, and at the end of the day, there was something about him that I saw.
All right, hold on. First of all, how did you even come into contact with Nipsey's music?
Right. Well, this is the story. My partner Big U, a family member, friend of mine, he had came home from the penitentiary 14 years.
Right.
A lot of people know of Big U now.
Absolutely.
But they don't really know him. They throw his name around, they use his name, but they don't know how intelligent this man is and what a humble man this is and what he's done for his community.
Yeah.
Okay? And he was in the music industry before he went to prison with corrupt. So at the end of the day, you know, he had come home from the penitentiary and he was like, you know, I want to put someone on from the hood. Right. And I would go there every day and he'd give me different music and check out and stuff. So I had lived in the Valley. So I was driving back one day, he gave me the CD, it said the Slauson Boys. And I was driving back in my Range Rover at the time I had, and I was with my little Mexican homie, Mexican Sean, and we were driving. And there was this Slauson Boy mixtape, and there was a song in there called Bullets Ain't Got No Name. And I'm like, damn, this shit is hard. And I'm like, this is hard shit with a melody, reminds me of East Coast 50. And there was a song, I Don't Give a Fuck, as well. So we were like, damn. So I hit him up, I said, yo man, I think we found one. Who's this kid? But the funny thing was, it said Slauson Boys. So I went to the hood the next day, and there's a guy named Kev Mack. He was like, oh, that's Nipsey Hussle. I'm like, damn, that name's amazing.
Right.
So I'm like, y'all
even a name grabbed you.
I'm like, y'all need to see what he looked like. So we went to a liquor store, and in the hood, they got the liquor stores with the bulletproof glass.
Is this over there on Slauson?
It's over there, yeah, French on Slauson area. Went into this liquor store and we pulled out this DVD. DVDs was popping back then.
Thanks.
And we pulled out this DVD with a hanger. And we took it back to someone's house and we sat there and watched the DVD. I'm like, yo, this guy look like Snoop Dogg. God, you can meet this guy. Yo, pulled up in his Cadillac, long white tee, still got the same Cuban with the Malcolm X piece that he still wears, and a Rolex. And I met him. I'm like, wow. I was just like, yo, like, looks like Snoop. And he was like, oh shit, you Steve Lobel. He knew of me. I would love his name. Like, yo, man, I want to work with you, man. Fuck it. So we started working together, and we started rocking. And at the time, Sean Kingston's brother had problems with Johnny Shipes. Okay. And we got called to come to the video shoot for Me Love. It was on Crenshaw for Sean Kingston. So it had nothing to do with Nip at the time. And we came, and then you know, at that time, you know, I was bringing Nip to everywhere, every label. And if you listen to Keys to My City, he says that verse. You know, Dre Pass Capital, Warren Atlantic, Def Jam 2. My brother Sam had some time to do. Yeah, Steve's cool, big user animal. I'm not a rapper though. That's true statements.
Why you think the labels passed?
We took them to every label, man. I don't know. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they didn't believe. You know, most people at labels are followers, not leaders anyway. So they probably didn't see the vision and stuff. And you know, until this day, Nip's still the same. He just tightened up his clothes. He still got the same chain and Rolex. So, and then we took every label. They passed, and we got a deal at Epic Records. Because Charlie Walk, who runs Universal Republic now, loved his name. So Nipsey was signed to Epic Records. Now they're a big rap label. And we had brought Johnny Shipes in after. And I went to Felly Fella, Power 106, and I said, yo, I need you to play this record. Before that situation, he played Bullets Ain't Got No Name. So me and Nip did, you know, we did tours together. He nicknamed me Maniac Lobel. We've been through a lot, man, and now just to watch him where he's at right now, he controls all his stuff, does a lot of stuff. But
it's amazing, man.
He's very business oriented. But I always said that he's the smartest artist I ever met, and he's building up all these different businesses. Because he always said to me, Steve, I don't want to be famous, I want to be rich. And that's what he's doing, building. He's opening a fish store now. He's got the Crenshaw store.
Weaves. Nip is a hustler.
He's a hustler. He's always been a hustler. He's never changed. A1, real one. And you know, it is what it is, man.
All right, so staying on Nip again, like, so I was fortunate enough, I went on the Crenshaw tour with Nip, right? And I got the pleasure of being able to see him hands-on and how he works and how he grinds independently. Today we're in a day and age where you don't necessarily need to be signed to a label, right? Like, you can work independently. But what do you think, you know, being a part of that grind and a part of Nipsey's career, what do you think it takes to grind independently in this day and age?
Well, let's go back to the day and age of grinding.
Let's talk about
independent. Let's talk about E40 and Too Short Out the Trunk. Let's talk about Tony Draper and Suave House from Houston, you know, which I had the honor to work with Tony Draper and Suave House in the 90s. with 8 Ball and MJG and Mr. Mike and South Circle and Tila. So Tony Draper is a statement of independent, and same with Jay Prince from Rap A Lot.
Yep.
So people have been doing it independently, and then the labels come. 3-6 Mafia, I worked with Juicy and DJ Paul in the 90s, and we worked on their first album, got a gold plat. So they were doing it independently. So let's fast forward 20 years later, 15 years later, independently.
Has the grind changed?
The grind has changed because of this grind. We back then had to really get out and grind.
Yeah.
Meaning going to the radio station, meaning going to independent retail stores, which were saturated in every goddamn state.
Right.
So when you went in there, that's how stuff was being sold and talked about through SoundScan and so on and so forth. Now, we fast forward, the independent game is, who's streaming, who's got views, who got this buzz, who got followers, and did it themselves with the push of a button instead of getting in a van or a car and grind.
That work. Yeah.
You understand? So it's always been an independent game. Nipsey is continually to show the world, because he grew as an independent, worldwide, global artist without a big hit record to radio or a major album.
Right.
But in reality, he's had hit records to his core fan base. So he built a brand, and he's always told me, Steve, it's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. We used to argue sometimes, like, yo, we need to make a radio record. He's like, don't worry about it. And we'd get in all little arguments, and then he had that vision more than anybody. So he knew that we're not just going to run to the corner, we're going to have a marathon.
Yeah.
And he's been building it and building and building. And I was able to listen to some of his new music. I ain't going to say nothing who's on it, but incredible.
Yeah.
And again, we did a tour with The Game, went with J-Rock, when Kendrick Lamar was K-Dot, who was the hype man for J-Rock. So when I watch Kendrick and Top Dog's grind, and I see him just take all those MTV awards there, I'm like, hard work really paid off.
Right, so hold on.
It don't happen over there.
That's crazy. We got to slow that, because that was crazy. Now, we know, like, from TDE, J-Rock was the guy. J-Rock was the first one that they pushed out. J-Rock was like, this is, the guy, and Kendrick was the hype man. So you're on tour and you're seeing K-Dot at this time, right? So you're on tour seeing K-Dot as a hype man for J-Rock. Did you see, I guess, a vision, or, like, obviously we know what he is today. We just seen him at cleanup at the VMAs. Damn is borderline. I don't like using the C word, classic. I don't like using that word too early. But Kendrick's out here doing the most. Were you able to see that at that time?
Look, again, one thing about me, I go all over the place.
Yeah.
I got hit in the head in the Kanye West party when I was 30 years old at the Louis Vuitton store. You can Google that, I sued Louis Vuitton. So a lot of my memories in and out, and I forget things, right? But it was Kanye's birthday and everybody was there. They left me laying on the floor, thought I was drunk, whatever. I don't even drink. You got me drinking. But
shout out to 3 Kilos, by the way.
Shout out my man, my nephew, Greg, Mr. Flawless.
Mr. Flawless.
And and I was trying to get Kevin Hart behind this, but anyway. So it was the LAX tour. And it was Game's tour. Game had a bus. Nipsey went on that road. Me and about 60 of the homies.
Yeah.
In a Winnebago. And I was like, damn, bro.
This is gang related though. This is Game and Nipsey, like.
But it was all good.
It was all good.
And I'm like, we're taking the homies on this Winnebago, we're going on the road, and we thugging it out. One room with the Holiday Inn Express.
Right.
Free breakfast, we're gonna take a shower and hang out at the venue.
Yeah.
And we had a little toss off from Epic. And that's when Nip taught me about mixing the Doritos with the noodles. And,
right. The cheese topping.
Yeah, we went out on the road. And then J-Rock was in the van. And K-Dot, who was Kendrick Lamar, was his hype man. And we went on that road, it was Bloods and Crips. Yeah. And it was his love. And we went on that whole tour. And there's some footage on YouTube, Nipsey. I took Nipsey to the Fantasy Factory. He was skateboarding. Just for you skateboarders, you need to go Google that.
Nipsey was skateboarding?
Yeah, Nipsey was skateboarding.
We got to pull up the Google.
Rob Dirty. It's on YouTube. But there's footage on YouTube, Nipsey saying, yo, this guy's a real maniac. He called me maniac because we did 49 cities in 50 days. And Nip was like, yo, I'm done. And a lot of the homies went home. And I'm like, Nip, we start something, we're going to finish it.
Right.
And we stayed on that road, and Kendrick was K-Dot, on that was J-Rock. J-Rock was the man in TD.
Absolutely.
On that tour, and they thugged it out in the van, and we went. I remember just like running the Game's dressing room, like, yo, Game, man, what's up, man? We got no ride and nothing in our dressing room. Get some pizza, some water. I'm passing it down to them. And every time I see Kendrick and J-Rock, it's love and Top Dog and what they've done. So again, to all the fans out there, it don't happen overnight, man. It takes a lot of work, but You know, J. Cole. I watched that at the beginning stages. You know, there's a fucking Crazy Bone, Busy Bone, J. Cole record out there floating that. J. Cole got his computer, man. He want to do a record. I need that, man. I'll put that out.
Cole, what's up?
You know, I created this thing called Live with Steve Lobel. I don't know if you saw any of those episodes I was interviewing. My first interview was with J. Cole. So the fan, I'm on the phone, my BlackBerry, looking at the questions. I'm not Johnny Carson, I'm not Jimmy Kimmel, I'm not you. But I was started at, so I'm like twitching my nose. I'm a little nervous. I don't do coke. And I interviewed J. Cole. And fans would comment like, "Yo, he's with J. Cole. Why is he looking at his phone? He should be paying." That was before even Cole became who he is now. So I was always ahead of something. But Cole, Drake, they always used to come to LA and want to work with Nipsey. And this ain't 2 years ago. This is 6, 7, 8 years ago. There's a record called Killer that Drake did with Nipsey. So I don't know. I see things first. You know, reality TV. I've been on, you know, Road to Stardom with Missy Elliott and Mona Scott, who's a dear friend. So I see things first, man. I'm a leader, not a follower. The problem is people get intimidated by me because I'm a straightforward guy and I'm connected to a lot of people and I'm really in the streets, but I'm really corporate. I'm in everything. So I've seen it, and you know, and I laugh at people now that now love Nip when they told me to my face never will work. A&Rs. But again, I'm not a rat. I don't snitch. I come from KR, kill all rats, and it'll be in my book. I'd rather get paid for it. But you know,
I think, like I said, what you saying, you mentioned it earlier. We talked about, we just briefly touched on Fat Joe and Big Pun. And you, with your vision, just being able to see things kind of, you know, come to fruition. Like we said, like Fat Joe, everyone kind of, you know, a lot of people misconstrue it and think like Pun and Joe was under him. Like Pun was Joe's little man.
You Gotta Flow, Joe. That was the first song. You know, Jealous One's Envy. Joe's family, man. I'll be honest with you, like one of the realest I've ever met in the music industry. Nipsey's one of the smartest. Fat Joe's one of the realest. I'm so glad him and 50, you know, squashed their beef because 50's my man, because Jam Master Jay found 50 and Fat Joe's my fam, and that was real beef.
That could have got real.
There's so much fake beef out here that it's just bullshit, but that was real beef. Got ugly.
So now, like I said, this is the Terror Squad, and that name holds meaning because they were literally out here terrorizing cats. Were you around for that era when, you know, Joe was Mr. Puerto Rican Rum? Were you around for that kind of era?
Man, and Pistol Pete, you know, is the only guy who keeps a razor in his dick. Not circumcised, you know. It's not circumcised. You know, they created a mittens on Rikers Island for that. We'll go to Pistol Pete's birthday party tonight. Fat Joe will be there and all stuff. Yeah, I was around the Terror Squad when Armageddon, Triple Sace, Prospect, Tony Sunshine, Cuban Link, all of us, you know, that Terror Squad Triz and all that. So, you know, like again, I'm still blessed to be friends with Fat Joe. Probably go see him in the Hamptons tomorrow, but Joe is one of the best. He never gets his proper dues. Yes, Joe was the leader. Pun was signed to Fat Joe. You know, there's stories out there that Pun abused this and his kids, his wife, and all stuff. I personally would get in arguments with Pun because he would grab my cell phone every day to call home. While we was on the road, he was the hype man to Joe, and he would sit next to the window near the van. No chains, nothing. He was just a hype man. And he would call home to care about his kids and his wife and check on everybody. We'd argue because I need a phone to call retail and radio to Chicago and Cleveland and Detroit, and we'd be all over the place, you know. And rest in peace to Full Flex, you know, Fat Joe's manager who passed away. Again, man, Joe's one of the realest, man, and I've been fucking with Joe since '93.
For those who don't know, legendary producer Scott Storch, like hit after hit. We like, you know, this guy is a certified musical genius, man. And when I watch Scott, like, you know, on his piano and creating beats and the footage and the content that he's put out and provided, like, yo, it's amazing to see. And, you know, you managing him, obviously you're a part of that creative process and just being able to witness how he, you know, thinks and how he kind of hears music. What is that like in the moment, kind of seeing Scott create in his genius mode, like when he's locked in? What is that like?
It's a crazy story. I got a DM from Scott Storch.
Did you know each other?
Yeah, of course. I know Scott like 15 years. I thought it was Scott. But it wasn't. I found it after. And we just vibed. So then I saw my friend Raul from Terror Squad, when I just showed you the picture of us with Nas and Common. Was with Scott. So I hit him, I said, yo, I need to see Scott. I need to interview Scott for Live with Steve Lobel. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna give you an address, go over there. So I went there and I interviewed Scott. after that interview, Scott was like, "You want to manage me?" I was like,
just straight up.
Yeah, like, yo, you want to manage me? Like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, let me think about that,
right?
Because I never managed a producer,
right?
So the next day, he had his girl call me, who controls the Instagram and who was with him, and said, "Hey, I'm Scott, but I had told him like I want you to speak at the Phoenix House because I do a lot of motivational speaking at juvenile halls, colleges, high schools, and jails. I'm a drug rehab's Phoenix House. So I said I want Scott to come. Scott says I'll do it. So she had called, and I'm talking to her, and next thing you know, Scott came and he spoke at the Phoenix House. So then he was like, "You want to manage me?" And the next day I said, "I'm manager."
Yeah.
So I never managed a producer. And then from there, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm just going to reach out to all the artists I know, the managers I know, the A&Rs I know, the executives I know. And that's how it started.
Right.
And we've been going for about a year and change right now, and we're killing it. Because you have to understand, so I ran to Monty Lippman the other day, and he was like, "Steve, always a name, always a threat." So I started getting him back in all these buildings because his talent is crazy. So now you're saying, like, you know, you see stuff posted on Instagram of him and playing the keys, and then World Star picks it up and Complex picks it up. So I'm in the studio a lot of times and I'm watching them make beats, and they'll be like, "All right, manager's out."
Right.
So I'm like, shit. So I gotta respect that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, "Yo, Steve, coming in. What do you think of this?" And then you know, I'll tell them, and I'll sit back like I'm sleeping, and I'll be on my fucking live feed or some shit just to get it, because it's crazy what he does. I've never seen someone do something like that. It's amazing. So
crazy.
We're working with everybody. We're about to release an exclusive MPC pack of his sounds with Akai. I was just saying to myself, how can I be creative and innovative? And I told Scott, we just can't make beats.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. Now
is this his package of beats, like his sounds? That people can purchase and utilize the sounds.
Yes, worldwide with Akai Pro.
Yeah.
We're doing a movie on his life and a docu-series called The Piano Man.
Right.
A lot of major people involved with that. You know, we're gonna look for an artist, like I said earlier. We're gonna put out Scott Storch singles. Yo, Dave East, if you don't use that song with Jeremiah, bro, we're putting it out on Scott Storch's single, man, and we're gonna just do a distribution deal. I'm gonna put that out. So we just had Dave East in. Just innovative, creative, different things. He has Storch Labs. We got the chocolate cocoa nugs.
Yeah.
It's chocolate. It's not marijuana. It looks like the weed.
Yeah.
With Burner and Be Real's partners with us.
Right.
Just a lot of other things I'm doing. We're gonna do a Scott Storch YouTube page.
Yeah. We're
gonna do a Scott Storch play. We're doing a lot of stuff with Scott. And you know, I don't know if you know, obviously people who follow me or follow Scott, you know, I'm more with it with the Insta story. We just had Shy Glizzly in there. Shout out 300 Entertainment, you know, my man Salim. We had Russ in there, like I said. We had Cousin Stiz. We had Kyle in there.
Hold on, wait. We had
Dave East in there. We just had fucking A$AP Ferg in there. Gave him a crazy record. We're on the new A Boogie album, Don Chew album. We got Chew on PNB Rock.
Scott's
all
back.
new, young, relevant shit. We gave him that record with Jeremiah All Eyes. So I'm just going, man. I think I'm getting high off the cigar.
Yeah, me too.
We're doing,
me too. I'm lit.
We're doing Burner's project. We're doing Burner's project. We're bringing back that authenticity of the Dre Chronic sound, and we're doing Burner's album. Burner's got me high. I don't even smoke weed.
Right.
So I don't know. We're going all over the place.
Yo, Scott is out here doing the damn thing, man. And I just need to, because so we mentioned Russ, and Russ is somebody that I've been following for some time, man. And you know, he's a dope artist. And I think one of the things that's interesting about Russ is that he has a saying, you know, I mix, master, produce, and rap. Like, he does everything, one-stop shop.
Right.
So for Russ to even be able to reach out to somebody for production is a big deal, right? Like, you have to be.
Well, no, this is how it happened.
Tell me about that.
I told you, my nephew, he just graduated from Syracuse, and I told him, like, yo, you want to get in the game. He's reached out to a lot of labels. They're like, hey, you can come be an intern.
Right.
I'm telling him, like, yo, you work with us, and at the end of the day, we're going to find an artist, and you're going to be next Scooter Braun, and you make more money than working at a label. Yeah. No disrespect with a label, but if that's what you want to do and have a guaranteed check, I respect that, but you have to be an intern. Right. So I said, reach out to some people. So he reached out to Russ's camp, and Russ came. But Russ don't work with nobody. So the funny thing is, I knew Russ manager, Milan.
Okay.
So it was a small world. So when he came, he pulled up, I was outside, he saw me. He's like, oh shit, Steve Lobel, I love your live at Steve Lobel episodes. I'm like, damn, I didn't really think that he even watched it.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a Nipsey fan. And by the way, Scott Storch got me producing.
This is Russ telling you this?
Telling me all this. So now he's inside with us, and he's telling Scott, like, I don't work with no one. I mix, master, engineer, produce, everything myself.
Yeah.
You're the first one I work with. But I looked up to you producing. Scott gave me 2 monsters. Then he was telling me about the live with Steve Lobel, all the interviews that motivated him, inspired him. I'm like, wow. Then he's like, I'm a fan of Nipsey. So I said, hold on. So I FaceTime Nip. Nip picked right up.
Right.
You know, you can catch Nip on a good day or bad day. He picked up and like, oh shit, Russ, what up? I like what you're doing. And then that was that.
Yeah.
So again, you know, and we worked with Russ, and Russ don't work with no one.
That's
but guess what? If you didn't work with no one, you're going to work with Scott Storch, because most people idolized him or looked up to him as a producer. And of course, he went through his trials and tribulations like everybody else. No one's perfect, including us. And his talent never left. So a lot of people turned their backs, whatever. But I was like, he's my friend. So anything in life for me is an end game. I always have an end game in anything I do. So I told Scott, my end game is not about the money, because to all you young people out there, money comes and goes and history stays. If you can keep making history, you'll make money. So I told Scott, like, I can't wait to stand on the stage with you when you win a Grammy. And just stand there, not the cocky person I am, the confident person I am. I'm confident. And just stand there, I don't smile a lot, unless I get high with Burner. But I just want to stand there and just be up on the stage when he grabs that Grammy on my watch, because I've been part of that team for like a year and a half when people shut the door.
Yo, that Grammy is coming, bro, because I know you also managed the last person we had a Cigar Talk, Casanova. And Cass dropped the record with, or he didn't drop it yet. He ain't drop it yet. We're waiting on that record with Scott Storch, and that joint is sounding like a monster.
I was just talking to Cass, right? Shout out Casanova, a real one. A lunatic, but a real one.
Shout out
His
Casanova.
Personality is crazy, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's about getting new generation in with Scott. So it's a crazy story. There's a restaurant in Long Island that I eat at with Ryan and his family called 388. It's an amazing Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
The waiter had called me one day and he's like, yo, and everything I'm saying is facts, true story, everything, right? He's like a waiter there, and he's like, hey, there's some people in the restaurant, Casanova's camp, and I'm a fan of Casanova, and I'm here, and they saying they work with him. I'm like, hold on. Really? I thought my man Warehouse Germ from Warehouse Music with Bleak and Debo managed him. But I found out later that he was signed to them. So I hit him, he's like, no, this guy Joe manages him, but I'll give you his number, we'll connect. At the end of the day, he wasn't at the restaurant. So I guess what happened was the waiter said, I want to meet Casanova, I want him to come to this restaurant for free to eat dinner. And he put in his phone Casanova on a group text with somebody. And they hit back and said, it's not what it's, you don't say the C word. I guess they were Pyrus or Damus or Bloods. So they got mad at the white waiter at the restaurant. He was nervous, and he hit me, and I was like, damn, he's like, what is going on? Oh, they want to beat me. Hold on, make some calls real quick. And I stopped that real quick. So it was ironic. And then when they came to LA on the Chris Brown tour, I never met Kaz. He came to Scott's house with Joe and his team, and we made that song called Left Right, which is going to come out soon with Chris Brown on it and Fab. So then, me and Kaz built a relationship, and I went to some of the Chris Brown shows in LA while he was there, and we stayed in touch, we were cool. And then he's like, yo, what's up with that restaurant that you were telling about? We went back to the same restaurant where it all started. And we had dinner, and he's like, yo, you mind helping me with this and that, just give me some advice, mentor, put this and that together. And that's how it go. But you know, and then he was in LA, BET weekend. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna set up some BET radio room for you, just on the strength. So he ran around the BET radio room. I ran into a lot of artists like Meek and Fat Joe, and they were like, yo, that's a real guy. Oh, you fucking with Steve? Da 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 da. It's more of a brothership, mentorship. And then I took him to the power screening, and he got that footage of him dancing with 50. And 50's like, yo, Steve, my fam. Oh, you da da da. So it's all organic. Everything in life should be not forced. It should be organic.
Absolutely.
So he's like a little bro to me, and I just wish him success. I want to see him blow the fuck up. Because he's got a story, he's been through some stuff. He has no patience though, but in the music business, you gotta have patience. If you think it's gonna happen overnight, it don't. Everything goes up, must come down. Remember that? And remain humble at all times. So I'm trying to teach him patience. I say, oh bro, you did 8 years in jail. Up north, like, you should have patience, you know, but he just wants to be out there. So
Well, we looking forward to that.
This shit this tastes good.
Oh yeah,
I'm fucking like floating right now.
You know what I mean? It's the 3 kilos Cigar Talk. We feeling good, man.
Who else we touching on?
Listen. All right, I got another one for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Did you work with Soulja Boy?
Man, you're a funny guy. Yo, Soulja, I love you, bro.
They say Soulja ain't from the hood.
Nah, I love Soulja. I put his first real tour together. We have a booking agency also. Shout out my man Jamie Adler. But at the end of the day, I helped Soulja.
Yeah.
I helped Soulja, and I like Soulja, and God bless Soulja.
I mean, I think it's interesting because, you know, Soulja's taking a lot of flack in general, just, you know, for his music or for his lyrics, and he doesn't have, you know, he's taking a lot of flack. But if we are going to be honest and sit here and say that he was a pioneer for the new wave.
Well, let me answer that. We'll cut you off.
Yeah, absolutely.
People could say whatever the fuck they want about anybody. You could say it about me too. People say to me like, yo, why you think you black? Why you think you this? Why you think you hip hop? Everybody has an opinion. But Soulja broke barriers doing what he did, and he's richer than a lot of y'all.
Facts.
Because YouTube. So
facts.
That's all we need to talk about as far as YouTube.
I like that.
I mean, as far as Soulja Boy.
Right. So now I just want to ask you, because you mentioned your book, and it was called "The Coach Lasts Longer Than the Player."
Correct.
I love that slogan. What does that mean to you? Just that?
I mean, it means the coach lasts longer than the player. That, you know, everybody who's successful, I feel, is coached or has a mentee or a mentor.
Yeah.
And that I'm still here. Like, my career's been on cruise control. I've had ups and downs, but I've been maintained to have cruise control career. Right. And I always tell people I'm a dinosaur, but on fossil fuel, because I stay relevant. So I just feel the coach lasts longer than the player, and you know, people come and go. And that's why I always tell people remain humble, because you could be hot or lukewarm and then be cold, and people turn your backs on you. I've seen it over and over. So I always remain humble. I always stay having good karma, consistent. Like, I've been with Bone Thugs and Harmony over 20 years.
Yeah.
That's 5 Jay-Z's, 5 Kanye's. That's not easy.
Yeah.
5 different emotions, feelings, and stuff. So that's not easy, and that shows you my integrity, my loyalty, and my principles, my morals, and that's what I live off of. Being with the same artists for so many years, and again, I didn't manage them in the beginning. I met them through Eazy-E, who I worked with, who Ruthless Records was distributed through Relativity Records. Eazy was my man. So when Straight Outta Compton, NWA, when you see Eazy run into Ice Cube in the tunnel, shout out Funk Flex, rest in peace, Big Cap, you know, Jessica Rosenblum. So I was there in real life, but not in that scene. When Eazy ran in the Cube, they had a problem. So without Eazy, there's not a lot of things. So I worked with Eazy, like I said. MC Ren, I worked with, God, man, one of the most incredible rappers. You know, and then, you know, we take it to the Midwest. I work with the Dayton family, who are incredible. So if you're from the Midwest and you don't know Proof, rest in peace, from D12, or MC Breed, rest in peace, hip hop don't know you. Or the Dayton family. Let's take it to the Bay Area. I work with the Loonies. I got 5 on it. You know, we did a record. I put Reverend Run DMC on that record. I put Fat Joe on the Loonies record. I worked with Mac Mall, who's like the Bay Area Nas. You know what I mean? So I can go all over the place. And let's take it to the Midwest, like we said, Bone Thugs and Harmony. But Common Sense, which y'all know is Common, he's in my top 5. He's one of the best. I used to love her. Is one of the best. Absolutely. So, you know, I've been all over the place. So when I'm a New Yorker from Queens, and I'm starting to listen to all these different artists, I'm like, damn, what the hell's going on? Because I'm just stuck on New York. I had to open up my ears and my eyes to really understand all these different artists from all over the country. So,
but what I want to know though is, how are you able to kind of
Casanova, they got me smoking and drinking.
You know what I mean? It's feeling good out here. It's feeling good.
Feeling
great. Absolutely.
It's feeling great. Ryan, you missing out.
Steve. Yeah. Yo, you, like I said, you've been in the game over 20 years. And
I will say, I am 51.
Okay.
And I'll be 52 in November. I hike 2 hours a day. I do a buck in push-ups. And I've been in the game about 28 years.
So that's what I want to know is, how are you able to still relate to the rap music that's going on today, right? Like, we have, like, Lonzo Ball, he I think did an interview today where he was like that Nas isn't. He said what he said. He's like, Nas isn't relevant anymore, and then real hip hop is Future and Migos.
Listen, I have to stop that. I just met him and his father at the Big 3. Shout out Ice Cube, who I did some stuff with, and shout out Mariah, who I worked with, and we got to talk about that Bone and Biggie collab.
Absolutely.
But, teach his own, and only God could judge, right? But how can you say Nas is not relevant? Now, the younger generation might not like follow Nas every footstep, but he's relevant. You know why? He found Dave East. So you have to refresh your words, sir, because he put Dave East on, who Dave East is an incredible rapper, and I got the pleasure to hang out with him and work with him. You know what I mean? So How can you say Nas is not relevant? See, you don't have to be relevant with your music. You can be relevant as a businessman or putting someone on.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And to the younger generation, yeah, they like the Migos and, you know, Little Yachty's and stuff, but that's what they like. And you can't take that because no one could be around 25 years and still stay relevant on the radio or relevant to the younger generation. That's crazy. Every 4 or 5 years, a new basketball player, new actress, new model, new executive, new artist, new football player. So you can't say that. Nas is gonna always remain humble because he's a businessman.
Yeah. All right. I like
That's how I get. You have to.
Absolutely.
And Nas could come tomorrow with some shit that everybody's gonna love. That's what I'm saying. You never count no one out.
Shout out to
anybody
Esco.
can always come back. Anybody can do this. But Nas got so much going on. The restaurant, the clothing line. Come on, man. You know, another fellow Queens guy. You know, I just showed you a picture of me, Nas, and Common and Fat Joe from 1995, bro, in the Bronx.
Classic shit.
Come on, so
classic shit.
Come on, man. You can't. Like I said, man, I hate that the younger generation don't understand and want to listen and learn. Whoever let him say that should go and tell him and sit him down and explain something to him. You can't. That's like him saying, "Yo, Lamar Odom, you know, is over."
Right.
Like, come on, Lamar Odom is a fucking legend, you know, but you can't say he's over.
Right.
Or Anthony Mason, rest in peace. Like, I don't know. Like, again, that's why I got my whole thing. Hip hop don't know you.
Yeah.
So I don't personally like when people run around, pants off their ass, fake chains, hat backwards, saying the N-word, saying it in the culture, but they don't know who this artist is or that artist or that artist. Hip hop don't know you.
Right.
You can't be from the Bay Area and not know who the fuck Mac Mall is.
Word.
You can't be from the Midwest and not know who the fuck, you know, MC Breeders, rest in peace. You can't be from New York and not know who the fuck the Beatnuts are.
True.
So I worked with the Beatnuts too. So, you know, and MOP and you know.
Look, this is one of my favorite big records, Notorious Thug. Now, when I first heard this shit, right, like Big blacked out on this, and for us to even be able to hear Big and Bone Thugs, East Coast, West Coast at that time, that wasn't something that, you know, was common. That wasn't a common thing, and you were fortunate enough to be in the studio while that happened. You gotta explain to me, to the viewers, to everybody in this fucking room, what that was like to even witness that and witness Big in that moment. And
it's crazy. There's a classic picture going around the internet that I keep posting. That was my pic.
Yeah. I
had hair. You know, in the studio with Busy and Biggie and Little C's and stuff like that. You know, I said send Puff another classic that I had. But this is how it went down. First of all, you know, Bone Thugs and Harmony as a group sold more records than a lot of people. About 50 million records. And shout out, rest in peace, Easy, who put them on. New York didn't accept Bone, so to speak. But real fans in the hood did, because I come back to New York sometimes like, yeah, I love Bone, this and that.
Right.
And when I heard Thuggish Ruggish Bone, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I was like, this is different, singing and rapping. So we were talking about Notorious Thugs. I'm in the Ramada Inn in Santa Monica. I don't know why I was there. It might have been because at the time we had Mo Thug Records and we were about to shoot a video, and there was a group called Trey that's in the beginning of Crossroads that sing on Crossroads, the three girls.
Right.
And I think I was in a hotel. We had rooms and we were gonna shoot the video next day. And shit, there was a rotary phone in the room. Fat Joe called me.
Rotary.
Fat Joe called me, and Fat Joe said, Puff's about to call you. I said, okay. And because of my got hit in the head, the Kanye party, like I told you, I don't know how they found me or found me in that room. I don't know. Cell phones, beepers, SkyTel, I don't remember. Yeah. And sure enough, Puff called me. He's like, yo, Steve, Big's in LA at the record plant. Want to do a song with Bone. So I'm like, all right, let me find these dudes. And it was like 96, and these dudes was bigger than life, and it was hard to find them because they were drinking bottles of Hennessy, smoking mad weed. They were wild.
My type of party.
So I'm like, how do I find them? But I felt bad because Wishbone was friends with Biggie, and he wasn't in LA. So I went to record plant, and I sat there, and they started rolling up one at a time. And Big's in there, C's in there, Stevie J. See, y'all know Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop.
Making
Stevie
hits,
J
though.
Made hits. So he produced that record with Puff, just like he produced that record with Mariah Breakdown. It's another smash. So they start rolling in, you know, Lazy Bone, 40 people with him because he likes to roll with a lot of people. Yeah. Crazy Bone pulling by himself, Flesh Bone coming in, Busy Bone by himself. And they come in, Big's got cases of Hennessy, cases of Moet, pounds of weed, Doritos on the picture. I'm like, oh shit, that's all we need. These guys are gonna get drunk, high, and nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. And that's how their method was. They were like, fuck, I'm embarrassed. Sure enough, they wake up. Busy's in the booth. They say, "What's morning, Biggie?" And they start doing this shit.
Oh,
Whoa.
dangerous.
That shit was done in an hour. An hour. And Big was like, "Whoa!" And they left.
Oh, did you see Big recording?
No. So they left.
Okay, they left. Okay.
Like, wow.
Right.
And then Puff had called me. He's like, "Yo, the song was done."
Oh, so you ain't hear it until...
No, Big took it back to New York. He wanted to study it and do it. And
Right.
He died. Otherwise, it'd been in a video.
Yeah.
He died, and then when the album came out, that's when we got to hear it. And that's when New York was like, "Yo, fucking Bone."
Yo, that
You have to understand something. Bone's the only rap group to record in a studio, not MP3, excuse me, with Tupac,
Yeah.
with Biggie, with Easy, and Pun. There's a song, you know, Pun's first feature was on Flesh and Bones album. But these are my gems and my keys to success. No disrespect to Khaled, I know him a long time. Organization, communication, follow up, never take no for an answer, and common sense, which is in common. We can
Those
get
are the
another one.
5
Like that.
keys.
So I'm just saying to you is the keys to success. And I love Khaled because he has the keys and I know him a long time. Organization, follow up, communication, never take no for an answer, and common sense, which is not common.
Simple.
Cigar Talk. Thank you so much, Cigar Talk, for having me. Woo!